Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us for the October edition of CART Conversations. We appreciate you being here. I want to introduce our board president, Rod Funderburk.
I have two things I want to stress tonight. One is those of you who are district chairs, you can talk to your clubs and convince them that the money they collect in the blue buckets, don't wait till June to send it to us. Send it routinely. We really like to get it about quarterly. But a lot of clubs wait till June, and we truly would like to change that method of operation. The second thing, the most frequently asked question that I get about the portal is, if I'd make a personal contribution, does my club get credit? And the answer is absolutely yes. And so if you would go out and stress that to the folks in your district, to remind them that when they do a personal contribution, the club also gets credit, and that would really help us. And lastly, most of you know, if you don't know, I'm going to remind you, the goal for this year is to raise $2 million. And we are a bit behind on getting to that goal. And so just a reminder that any help you can give us along those lines in terms of convincing your clubs to send money, that'd be great. And now we turn it back over to Tiffany.
All right, great. So as Rod mentioned, the best thing that district chairs can do is to communicate with club chairs and with other people in their district who are interested in raising money for CART. And we do recommend, if you go back to our handbook for for district chairs, that you create a committee in DACDB of all of the club chairs that you've identified. And some folks have done that and do it very well and communicate with them on a regular basis. And some have no idea what I'm talking about. And so for that reason, tonight we have asked our friends at DACDB, the District and Club Database, to join us and to talk about the importance of creating a committee in DACDB, how you go about doing that, and how you can email and communicate with them on a regular basis. So I want to say thank you to our friends from DACDB who are here tonight, and I want to introduce Donna, who is going to have this conversation with us. Thank you.
So Lynn Kelly has given me permission to impersonate her. So as you can see, I'm Lynn here on the upper right. I'm in District 7730, the South Brunswick Island Club. And one of the first things to be sure when you go, and you do have to be a level 6 or higher, security access is important, but you should see an admin tab on the left. And under that, there are club functions and committee functions. So the first part would be to make sure under club positions, there is a CART chair role at the club level, and it needs to have a role key right here. It's not a default. You may find that you need to use a different combination of letters. I've seen others, but this would be pretty typical. The other thing is to be sure in the district at the committee positions, you want to be sure, it's way down here, sorry for my scrolling, but this district has a district CART chair role. This is the district CART chair, and there is a role key here. So one of the next things I wanted to show you, now that we have positions defined, I'm going to go over to the club level, and I'm going to assign the role of club CART committee chair to Lynn. And I'm going to use her right now. Right now I'm this person, but I'm going to use her level 1 role so you can see how this impacts the security level. So if I add the role of, and I hope I'm not going too fast here, but I chose to edit the position. I'm adding, and when I click this, I'm going to, that's add button, I'm going to choose the CART chair. And these little, here's that role key. And these little numbers to the side mean this raises her security from 1 to 4. It's a leadership position, would sort as position 7. If I save this and click add again, I want to see it turn green. If I come back up to the view the club, I should see her here as CART chair. You can then, I wanted to give you 2 other things. When you go to the district, when you have level 6 or higher, you can come to the district tab and use club positions and filter. Often it looks more like this when you first open it. I chose to open club positions, and you can filter for that CART chair and see which clubs have appointed someone with that role. And it makes it easy to write to you know, our typical check boxes here. If you just wanted to write to this first club president, maybe you want to just write to 3 people, then you can come up and tap P-mail, and you would be able to write to them and urge them to please make that role appointment. If I go back there and filter, I want to make sure when I go down to the South Brunswick, do I see, here's Lynn Kelly. It's not filtering for the, oh, I didn't refresh. Good reminder. Having trouble seeing this. Refresh your selections if you add to these selections. And then when I go down to South Brunswick, here is that CART role showing up here. Now, the next thing is to go to the district tab and go to district committees. And this district does not have a CART committee. You can create a committee that filters and sorts and builds, just like you have a committee of club presidents or presidents-elect. All the clubs in the district that have assigned that role would build onto that committee. So let's do that for this district. And I believe Ken or Chris, I think you have to be a 7 to add a committee usually.
Normally, yeah.
So if we do this and we create a club CART committee chairs, for example, and we put the CART role key in here, and I add this committee and come here to the members and positions. Right now, I don't have anybody, but I know there's someone in the district that has that role key. So I can use this rebuild button and rebuild this committee. And it found 3 people with the CART role assigned to them. Okay. I come over here, and this is great when you get all of your CART, your club level CART committee chairs added to a committee like this, because then you can email that committee. Come back. I think I have to come back here.
Can you talk about what a DCO is and who they should work with? And if we could get the DCOs to set these committees up for them, I think it would be helpful if we then show them where to find it and how to email those folks and that kind of thing. But I think setting up committees is going to be a higher level than what we as district CART chairs might do. Does that make sense?
A lot of district CART chairs are level 6. But to create a district-wide committee, it usually takes a level 7. District communication officers are usually a 7. And if you have a district administrator, that person is also usually a 7. So either one would be able to create a club cart committee and assist you with those, creating that club level role. Once you have a committee, you can then email. If you could see, I was on the district committee list. Maybe I need to back up here. If you're on the district tab and you go to district committees and you go to this CART committee, one of the choices is a P-mail icon here. You can use that when you want to write to everyone on the committee. If this was a committee of 60 people and you need to write to just 10 of them, you would be able to click on the committee name and just select the people that you want to write to. But I'm going to include all of these people. So I can come here to this small P-mail icon in the upper right, which is going to take me from the committee area over to P-mail. It already has everybody in the distribution. And then when you send a message, so the last thing before we throw it open, when you use this tool and you send a message, here's the send button over here. There's a little delay before it actually goes out. But after it's delivered, you can go to your tracking in this left navigation and see what, how many went out, how many were opened. And when you click on the subject, you actually see who got the message and which people opened it. Okay, questions?
All right.
I think that was pretty good. Is there a like a concise written series of steps that we can get? I know on some things you guys have like a steps to success kind of a handout. Do you have that on the site somewhere?
We do on P-mail. When you go to support, we are right now, you would be able to come down here and get some tips on P-mail. The committee process, I'm not sure how many articles we have here, adding committee and communicating, P-mailing a committee, there would be that article there. We are in the process, in the next few months, this will look different and you will be taken to our knowledge base support. And that is going to be a lot easier to put in a keyword and search and have articles pop up that and videos that fit that keyword criteria.
Yeah, I've used both of those methods and I found them very helpful.
What else?
So Jim is our one outlier that is out in Wyoming and uses Club Runner instead of DACDB. So this is not applicable to him, but I'm certain that there must be a way to use some committees there. You'd have to work with them. And thank you, Ken, for addressing that as well. But yes, so Jim is not a DACDB district.
Yeah. And Donna, you may want to show how they can create a template if they're trying to send the same thing to their committee time after time. A reminder of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even as simple as this, if you want to and create a signature, but there might be a message that you send regularly, you can come to email, put that information into the body of the message, and then this is a little save button here on the very top, first thing in the editor toolbar. When you click it, it defaults thinking that you want to make this template available to levels 4 in the club. but you also have the option to save this template to your personal folder, give it a name, and you save. Then in the future, you can come to select a template and go to that personal folder, and you would see a choice of that template that you created for a message that you want to reuse.
That's an excellent way to add our logo if you want to put that in there, or if you have, some other information, as Donna said, that you want to use regularly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you wanted to insert that, like below your signature, you could just come down and there is a image insert option here that lets you drop an image in. And you can drag and drop also. Anything else?
So Angus has agreed to give us an update on where we are at the end of the first quarter. As you guys know, our fiscal year is the same as Rotary, July through June. And so we have just completed our first quarter, and he's going to give us an update on where we are for both CART and track. Angus?
Tracks, of course, with interest rates being up, tracks doing pretty good. Last year, tracks had in the account we used to pay expenses had $30,000, $985. This year we've got $42,549. So, we've got $12,000 more than we had last year. So, and with the interest rates, and I did a projection with the interest rates that we're getting now, we're going to be in good shape as far as track goes. That's nice.
But for just as a reminder for folks who may be going, what is track? Just as a reminder, track is our operating administrative arm, which is a separate nonprofit, because as a reminder, 100% of everything that goes to CART continues to go directly to research. So there is a separate organization that funds the administrative and operating costs for CART.
As far as the cash position, if you looked at this month's statement for this year, it shows that we have grant money available of $1,626,467. I'm going to kind of clarify that because we had $1 million grant. So if we're going to compare this year to last year, we have to factor out that $1 million donation. So on the balance sheet, I don't know if y'all keep these, so I'll just feed it to you. Money available for grants, factoring out the $1 million this year is $626,427. Last year was $436,706. There's a little bit of difference that I think I need to point out to you, because cash flow, because of the fact that we paid more grants last year than this year, cash flow, we're actually only ahead by $38,636. So, and the reason I say that is because you look at these figures and you got 626 versus 400. Part of that is because of the grants, the way we pay the grants out. Last year we had 12 outstanding grants. This year we only have 9 outstanding grants. So that does give us more money. But as far as the donations we're getting, we're only $38,000 ahead of last year. We're in good shape. We're running a little bit ahead of last year is what it amounts to.
We appreciate all that you do and appreciate you being with us tonight. Every month, we do a fundraising idea of the month. And one of the ways that you can improve and increase the fundraising and the giving in your district is by partnerships. And last month, you may recall that we had some folks from Murphy, North Carolina, talk to us about Celebrate Community, an international initiative of Rotary, Kiwanis, and Lions, and maybe one more, and how they were working, Optimist, I believe, and how they were working on on some partnerships to raise money or to do service projects. And we talked about the importance of partnerships. And tonight I wanted us to hear from someone who has done an excellent job of partnering with youth programs in their district, not just to get the kids involved in Rotary and Rotary programs, but they specifically got involved with CART as well. And that's an added benefit for us and those students. So I wanted to invite Eric Davis to join us tonight. Eric is from District 7770. He's in the Columbia, South Carolina area. And Eric is going to give us an update on what the youth program is that he works with and what they do, and also how they got involved in CART. Eric, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Tiffany. Glad to be here. I run an EarlyAct club at St. Peter's Catholic School in downtown Columbia. And EarlyAct, for those of you who may not have heard of it, is essentially Rotary for elementary school students. We run the club just like you would run a Rotary club. In fact, Rod has been in our meetings, so he's seen how these club meetings go. And one of the great things about EarlyAct is that the kids run the club. We train the kids themselves to become leaders, to be executive officers, to be classroom deputies, and the kids actually run the club. I'm just there to support them, really. So they run the meeting just like Rotary meetings are run. We start out with a pledge and prayer. We have 2 meetings a month. One is what we call a club meeting or a business meeting. The other is a project. So that club meeting begins with a pledge and a prayer, as I mentioned, and is closed with the 4-way test. In addition to that, every Thursday to close the school day, they say the 4-way test. So Thursday is kind of, if you will, EarlyAct day. Our 2 meetings a month are always on Thursdays, and the other Thursdays they close the school day with the 4-way test. So the club is actually embedded as part of the school curriculum in this case. It's the club meetings and the projects happen during the school day, and as Tiffany mentioned, we participate in the kinds of programs that Rotary clubs participate in. So, for example, every November we do a Purple Pinky Challenge to raise money for polio. Last year, this school that has had roughly 150 students last year raised $169 with their 1-day Purple Pinky Challenge. But the real crowning achievement from last year, I think, is how much money they raised for CART. It was more than we've ever raised before. I've been running the club there for 4 years, and this last year we raised more than any other year by far. The kids themselves raised about $800 throughout the entire school year. We do what are called happy coins, kind of like happy dollars in our Rotary Club. We call them happy coins, and each Thursday in each classroom, they contribute a coin to the blue CART bucket, and they can tell what made them happy that day or that week. So they do this every Thursday. Our club treasurer goes around to each classroom, collects the money and counts it, and at the end of the school day, at the end of the Thursday school day that week, he or she will announce the amount that was raised for CART. Now, to give you a perspective, $800 doesn't sound like a whole lot, but here's what we ask the children to do. We ask them to ask their parents for chores that they can do and get paid for, raking leaves in the yard, weeding the garden, doing the dishes, whatever that might be. And they are to take what they're paid. They are to save half for college, and then they can contribute the other half to CART. So they not only learn to manage money and to save money, but they also learn how to give to a good cause. In addition to that $800 they raised throughout the school year, as Tiffany knows, because she was there, we went to the District 770 convention, And we had the fortuitous opportunity to bring the kids up on stage. And they mentioned when they were up there that if they raised $600, and at the time of the convention in March, they were about something like $4 or $5 away from that $600. But if they raised $600, then all of the executive officers and myself would get a pie in the face at the school picnic in May. And lo and behold, somebody in the audience had the great idea to send some money up to the stage. And before we knew it, lots of people were sending money up to the stage. And those kiddos collected an additional $600 from the convention. So at the end of the school year, which I think, well, I think it was sometime late June or early July that I made the donation through the CART portal. But it was $1,434 and some odd cents to CART. That was just an amazing amount, not only through the generosity of people at the convention, but just through the hard work of the kids all during the school year collecting their pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. So I guess the point to all of this is you should start EarlyAct clubs in your district. It doesn't cost any money to start them or to maintain them. The clubs can be self-supporting. We sell t-shirts like this one to support our club. The kids are allowed to wear these t-shirts on physical education days and every Thursday. So their parents can buy an EarlyAct t-shirt and support the club instead of having to buy a shirt for PE days. And so they take no money from your club to run. It's fun. It's one of the most fun things that, at least that my club thinks that we do. They love working with the kids. The kids love working with them. And it allows you to, it allows you another avenue for raising funds for good causes like CART. We do a bunch of other projects too. We do 6 projects a year. You know, the school year is 9 months long. We do 6 projects a year. And the other 3 months, we do a book club. So we also promote literacy and their education by exposing them to books they might not otherwise see. So, for example, the book club we did in September of this year, we did science fiction. So we purchased books like this one here. This is the 6th grade book that we purchased. All of them are award-winning children's sci-fi books. This particular one is about a group of kids on a space mining colony who survive an attack by pirates. Pretty interesting book. We also, in 5th grade, did this book here. This is also an award-winning science fiction book about a middle school-aged girl who's the last of her kind on a planet run by robots. And then finally, in 4th grade, we did this book. This is about a group of kids who survive a zombie monster apocalypse. A very fun book, also an award-winning book. In addition to those books, and we buy, you know, every kid gets a book at each of these book clubs. In addition to that, we have, for the younger grades, we have Rotary themed books. So in 1st grade, they get this 4-way test coloring book. And in 2nd grade, they get this book called The Apple Dumpling Adventure. And then in 3rd grade, they get the sequel to that, which is The Apple Orchard Adventure. And all of these books are written by Rotarians, and they're sold actually by the Rotary clubs as fundraisers for them. We also do this book. This is one of my favorites, about Paul Harris growing up, his childhood, and how he grows up and eventually funds Rotary. A very interesting book. The kids love this one. So in addition to the various projects we do that Rotary clubs normally get involved in, we also promote literacy by giving these children books to read. We read with them during the book club meeting, and then they take the books home to finish. So by the time one of these kids has gone through the entire 6th grade, they've got something like 18 books of their own that they've been given. And also those books, we have found out, tend to get shared with younger siblings and everything like that. So it really is a great program. So they do all things Rotary Club does. They raise money, they do projects. We have a project upcoming this month, next week, as a matter of fact, where they're going to make 200 placemats for the St. Vincent de Paul Society for their Thanksgiving dinner in November. So they're doing actual hands-on service, as well as raising money for polio and CART, as well as learning leadership skills through their training to be officers, and also enhancing their education by reading more books. You can't get better than that. The icing on the cake is it doesn't cost your club anything to run. So if y'all have clubs in your district that might be interested in something like this, I'd be happy to share our program with you. You can feel free to plagiarize it and use it verbatim, or you can tweak it and do your own thing. But the main thing is to start more of these clubs in all of your districts, so that as Rotarians, instead of being hunters like we are now, we go out and hunt for members, you can start being farmers and grow your own Rotarians. These kids will go on to middle school and high school, maybe join an EarlyAct club, go on to college, become Rotaractors, and hopefully one day become members of your own clubs. So that's what we aim for. And so far, I think that we're being fairly successful. Another side benefit is you might get club members from the parents of these children that you are helping. We got one member just last month, one new member who's a parent at the school that we're conducting the Rotary Club at. Anybody have any questions about this? I've jabbered enough, I think.
I just have one question. How many students are in your club? Is it in different grades or?
The entire school are members. This year there's roughly 180 children, ranging from age 2 up to 6th grade.
Thank you.
Eric, thank you for this. This is wonderful. How long have you done this?
We have run this club for 4 years now.
Great. And I think it's important. One of the things I'm very much involved in literacy efforts here in 7680 and have tutored 2nd and 3rd graders. It's so important that kids have the feeling of owning their own libraries. That's what, you literally go from teaching them to read and to getting them from learning how to read, but reading to learn. And that's such an important step. Acquiring a library is a personal one. So hats off to you for doing that.
Yeah, it is important for those kids to have books at home, because if you think about it, when they're at school, they do a lot of reading, but then they leave the books at school. So a lot of them don't have books at home.
That's right.
It's important, as you said, it's important to put books in their hands, let them take those books home and read them. Yep.
Wow. God bless you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. David?
Where do you get the money for the books? And B, I would be very interested in somebody getting me your program, how you do this.
Sure. Your first question, how do we get money for the books? First of all, as I mentioned, we sell T-shirts that give us basically the operating money, the money to operate the club. So that allows us to buy pins and EarlyAct pins and other things that they need. For the books in particular, there are a number of ways we have done that. Last year, we got donations from other Rotary clubs, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, to cover the books, for us, for the size school that we're doing, the books cost us about roughly $500 for each book club we do. So it's about $1,500 for the 3 book clubs altogether. You know, I'm very tight with that money. I catch the book sales on Amazon and things like that to stretch it. But $1,500 does it for us. So we got some donations from other Rotary clubs last year. This year, we're doing a district grant to fund it. The school, the St. Peter's Catholic School, as I mentioned, is located in downtown Columbia. They have students from all walks of life, from low-income families to middle-income families, all races, creeds, colors. So it's a great mix of students, and they need this sort of mentoring. The concept of EarlyAct fit really well with a Catholic school, because part of the mission of Catholic schools is to teach service, and so this kind of just fit with what they wanted to do, and so it was a little easier to get started. I think that it would be a great program in public schools also. If we can convince a couple to let us try it, I think they would find that it's really easy, and the benefits far outweigh the little bit of work they might put into it. The 2 new clubs that we started this year in different areas of the district, I should say 2 other people started, that they reached out to me for the program. Both of those were in public schools. So I think we're starting to have some success there.
I will say that Eric made the comment that it might not sound like a lot of money, $800. As I said to Eric that day at the conference, that's more than a lot of Rotary clubs do for CART. And so we are very grateful for every dollar that they raised, but those kids were incredible and set a fine example. We have some videos of them that we'll share at some point as well, that they really did do a great job. So Eric, we really appreciate you sharing this story.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And if any of you would like to invite me to your district conventions. We love going to district conventions. We've done a couple already. We're going to do more. Usually I can bring some of the children with me. So that is a great way to introduce EarlyAct to your district if you would like.
Great, thank you. So just want to remind you all of a couple of other events that are coming up in the next few months. We do have Lunch and Learns scheduled through March of next year. Those are coming up in November. We'll take December off. We already have one in January, February, and March, and those are with our researchers. Those schedules are on the DACDB calendar under multi-district events, but also on the CART website. And again, we use the same Zoom link every time. Also, our monthly meeting, the CART Conversations that we're on tonight, we have that one scheduled as well for November the 9th and December the 12th. And we have speakers and programs just like this. If you have found this to be helpful and informative and you're getting something out of it, then please do us a favor and invite your club chairs from your district to join us so that they can get ideas. Your district governor line. We appreciate Kevin being here tonight. I know that Kevin and Pat are both getting ready to head to the Bahamas next week for the Zone Summit. And so we really appreciate them taking time out of their schedule to be here as well. And to back up, because we do have about 5 minutes left at the end, I just want to go back to our conversation about the committees, since Donna is still on here in case folks have questions. The takeaway that we hope that you get from this evening is that the best way to communicate with your district is not necessarily with the club presidents, because they are getting emails from their governors, they're getting emails from the district membership chair, from the district foundation chair, public image chair, all of those things. But if you can encourage each of your clubs to identify a club CART chair, one person in each club that is the one that you communicate with, then that will be really helpful for you to share information on a monthly basis. And you can use them as to train for the portal, to share information to their district folks as well, and to really make sure that you get invited to do a program or a presentation at their clubs. So the important takeaway is that you find a club chair in as many clubs as possible in your district. and then either create the committee yourself or work with your district communications officer or your district governor or your district public image chair to make sure that that committee is created in DACDB, and so that you can communicate with them on a regular basis. What we have found is that those district CART chairs who do that every month are the ones that are getting constant donations into the portal versus waiting till the end of the year. And so it's important that we communicate often and effectively, and we have an easy tool at our disposal using DACDB in the committees and PMail. So I'd like to say congratulations to Heather. She received the Volunteer of the Year award from her Chamber of Commerce, and that is excellent. It just proves that our CART volunteers and our Rotary volunteers truly are people of action that are creating lasting change in their communities, and I'm really proud of you. Congratulations on that. Donna, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That was huge. We are going to try to continue to have someone from DACDB on a quarterly basis. We always try to have Terry or Michelle do something with the portal on a quarterly basis as well to provide updates, because I think that it's a constant. If you're not doing it every day, it requires a little bit more review time. And I know that everyone is not in DACDB every day like some of us are. And so it's important that we have you available for questions. And we really appreciate your time tonight as well.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
All right. If there are no other questions, we will call this a night and say thank you to everyone for being here. And we will see you again very soon.